Welcome to Parish and Community. My guest today is Ann Padberg, who is the Regional Coordinator of the Missouri region for Christian Life Community, as well as a parishioner here at College Church. Hello, Ann.
Hello, Angela.
Tell me how you got involved with College Church.
Oh, years ago, I worked at St. Louis University. And like I think I started like in '79 and I worked there for a number of years. And so when you're involved with St. Louis University, you automatically go to events at the college church. And so that really, I guess, was my first experience. Yeah.
That's wonderful.
And once you're connected, then regardless, you want to keep going there.
That's good to hear. Thank you for saying that. I appreciate that. How did you get involved with Christian Life Community?
Well, that was, I went to, about the Bridges Retreat.
Yes.
That is the retreat for busy people, the retreat in everyday life. So it in fact is an Ignatian retreat, but instead of taking 8 days off or 30 days off and doing it, you do it starting in September and going to May, with, going on with your life. But you also get the advantage of being in a retreat. So I did that, and at the end of that, I just wanted more. I didn't want it to end. And so somebody told me about Christian Life Community, and really it is the ideal place to go after you've been through Bridges, because it's a way of life.
And I understand there's a lot of history that involves College Church when it comes to Christian Life Community. Is that right?
That's very true. Yes. Well, let's see. I'll give you a thumbnail sketch of the original history. The organization, this is so interesting, at least it is to me. I'm a historian. It started with a Belgian scholastic. So his name was Jean Lounis, and he thought it would be good to gather the young men who were students wherever he was, and then encourage them in a lifestyle where they could touch on their daily life, their school life, their work, their family, and all of those things being affected by all those relationships being affected by their Ignatian spirituality.
And this is way back, isn't it?
Yes, it was 1573. Yes, you're right. Long time ago. And it was Marian in nature. So they were called sodalities. It was the beginning of the sodalities. Yes. And so it went on from there until the Jesuits were suppressed in 1759. Well, they were suppressed between 59 and 73, but they were suppressed then for 50 years. Now, so they couldn't have anything to do with these sodalities that had started.
Yeah.
So other people started taking them over. And in 50 years' time, without the Jesuit influence, you can see where they would have changed. They would have lost their Ignatian emphasis. So they became just regular, they were good, prayerful association groups, Now, as they grew, because, by the 20th century, there were something like 80,000 sodalities all over the world.
Sure.
Yeah. But they were no longer Ignatian. And some of the parish ones, especially the women's sodalities, they were really there to have card parties and stuff like that.
Sure. Yeah.
Now, when I was in high school, I was in sodality, and for every meeting, what we did was we prayed the rosary. So you know, that, I mean, it's a good thing.
It
The
is a good
rosary
thing.
is a good thing, but it really is far removed from all the other uh, things within Ignatian spirituality.
Sure.
So um, then, in going on with the history, uh, you'll have to give me 2 sessions because I can't get it all in. Uh, well, then, all of us in St. Louis know about Father Dan Lard, who became very active in sodalities in the 1940s, the 30s and the 40s. And
Okay.
he wrote several books. He prepared pamphlets for people in sodality, all kinds of things. Um, but it was so interesting because here was sodality, which was created by the Jesuits, but had become so removed from it that here is Dan Lard stepping into this picture, and he doesn't take it back to the Ignatian spirituality. He goes on with what they were doing then, which wasn't a bad thing. You know, I'm not saying that negatively at all.
Sure.
It just wasn't the original intent.
Right.
So, Pius the 12th. Now, this is interesting because you would think it happened with Vatican II, but in fact, it happened before Vatican II. Pius the 12th said to the sodalities, or he might have said it to all of lay organizations within the church. That part I don't really remember. But anyway, he said, go back to your roots. Look at where you started and think about where you are. And so he was the one who gave sodalities the chance to really look at their roots and see that they came from Ignatian spirituality.
Wow.
Yes, yes. And then and then after Vatican II, in 1967, there was a huge meeting, and I can't remember what it was called, but they had this assembly to talk about, okay, where do we go now? And that is when they changed their name to Christian Life Community instead of sodality.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so sodalities really are part of Christian Life Community. They actually filled up the time. I shouldn't put it that way, but they actually they continued the spirituality that was started way back by Jean Muniz.
It's so interesting because I went onto the Jesuit Archive website, because we have the Jesuit Archive here in St. Louis for the whole North American region, right? And I looked at what is available for College Church, and they have all of these magazines called, I think, the Queen's Work.
Yes,
That was the sodality publication.
That's
And
right.
there was a note in there that said it became Christian Life Community. So yeah, there's a deep history here.
Oh, I'm so glad to know that that's online.
Yeah. So tell me about your experience of CLC and how it has affected your own faith life.
Well, in fact, really, I guess, I don't know how to say it, except that I kind of fell in love with the Ignatian model, with the Ignatian spirituality. And Ignatius loved Our Lady, so
yes,
you know there was plenty in there. There's plenty in there that is Marian, but it just grabbed me. It's CLC is really a way of life, and it's spiritual as well as apostolic. And I am sure I'm missing something. There must be a better way to explain this to you.
But quite all right.
That is what it was. And one of the things I like about it is you're in a community. See, CLCs are small groups, but they're united. So we have, I don't know how many, in the United States, and then there's world CLCs.
Mm.
So there are 60 countries where there are Christian life communities.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, it's really amazing how large the organization is. But then the group that you function with is really your own community.
Right.
So these people become very special to you. They they become friends, um, but they're the people you pray with.
Mm.
You know,
Right.
like our Sodality. I'm Sodality. I'm my group, my community, Christian Life Community. The name of it is the People of St. Paul,
Mm.
and we meet twice a month. Most CLCs do meet twice a month. So so we're together, and this is so interesting because this whole year went with the coronavirus. We have made it a point to meet on via Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
So, and nobody misses because they don't have anything else to do.
Sure.
All they can
Sure.
do is,
Right.
you know, we're all sitting in our houses looking for something to do. So it really kept us together so much.
Mm. Mm.
And I think we have 7 or 8 members. So we get a CLC gathers, and we follow some format, a prayer format. I keep thinking about you being new in CLC, and I'm thinking, oh, you already know this, but the people out there don't already know this.
And is there a website that they can go to, or how can someone get involved if they want to get involved?
Well, there's a couple of ways. One would be that they could just call me, and my phone number is 314-696-9610. But also, there are a couple of websites. The one that would be the national website would be the most obvious place to go.
Okay.
And that is CLC-CVX.org. No, I did that wrong. CVX is the world group.
Okay.
So wash that out of your mind.
Got
it. CLC-USA.org.
And I can put that link on the comments of this video as well so that people can see
good.
it. Yeah. Now, how about for you personally, who are some holy men and women who have inspired you?
Well, St. Ignatius. It's an interesting thing. When I did Bridges, they had an introductory session before Bridges, and the person who was presenting the life of St. Ignatius said, well, he doesn't seem to be like anybody I'd want to associate with. And I'm listening to it and I'm thinking, gee, I really like him. You know, so I like the things, his approach to prayer, his approach to our relationship with God. When you start with CLC or with Bridges, you start by thinking about God's love of you, the emphasis on God's love of you. And then one of the things, this stands out to me about Ignatius, he emphasized praying with your imagination. And I love it. Maybe it's because I have kind of a creative mind, so it's easy for me to do. But, you don't hear that in other places. But it's very Ignatian, very spiritual. So anyway, he certainly is one of them. Now, also, my patron saints, Saint Anne, and my middle name is Marie, so for Mary. And then, when we were taking confirmation names, when I was, I don't know, however old you are, 10, I tend to always want things to be organized. I don't know why, but so I took St. Elizabeth because she's part of the family.
Yes.
and Mary.
Mary and Elizabeth. Oh, that's
Yeah,
very clever.
yes. So,
I love it.
yeah, yeah. But so those three are very special to me. Um, Mary Magdalene in Scripture,
Mm-hmm.
she's really a hero.
Mm-hmm.
And Martha in Scripture.
Mm-hmm.
I would
Yeah.
say, yeah, those are my favorites.
And this has been such a pleasure to talk to you. I so enjoyed this, and I look forward to sharing with everybody about CLC.
Okay, very good.
Thank
I'd love
you.
to tell you more.
Well, people will just have to call you.
That's right. That's right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.